Hello again, this is Alex Miceli, and this is my one take for this week. And, you know, there's a lot of weeks where there's just absolutely nothing to talk about in golf. It's just nothing. Kind of boring. I mean, I don't want to say boring because then you might be bored, but I don't want it to be boring. I want it to be interesting. This is one of those weeks where it was unbelievably interesting, compelling, actually, depending on how you look at it, but certainly interesting. First off, Memorial Tournament. I'm going to tell you that Patrick Cantlay won, Tiger Woods made the cut, and outside of that, nothing else to talk about. So we're just pushing that to the side. Next week, RBC Canadian Open, followed by U.S. Open, which will be at Pebble Beach. We'll talk all about that later. Move back, Women's Open. Now, usually, we don't spend a lot of time on the Women's Open, or really, I should say, the LPGA. I follow the PGA Tour a lot. I don't follow the LPGA as much. I don't have as much to give to you on the LPGA Tour. This week, however, I'm going to be spending a lot of time on the LPGA Tour. And why? Why? Well, the simple reason is two words: Hank Haney. Now, some of you may be aware of who Hank Haney is. Some of you may not be aware. Some of you may be aware of the controversy that Hank Haney has created. Some may not. So let me give you some insight here. Hank Haney has been an instructor on tour for a long time. You had a lot of different players, including His Majesty Tiger Woods. Hank Haney has really not spent much time on tour lately. It's been more, if you hear about his name, it's more about him criticizing someone's game, or it's because he has a radio show on Sirius XM. Fine, no big deal. However, Hank Haney at some point decided that he would care zero about the LPGA Tour. And when asked on his own show what he thought about who was going to win the women's tournament in Charleston, he said, "I got no idea. I'm dumber than a box of rocks about the LPGA." But he didn't say it in that way. He didn't clarify the fact that, you know, we don't follow the women's game as much as the men's game. There's no exact reason why that's the case, but it's true. He didn't talk about the fact that how good the players could be. He didn't talk about any of that. What he did is he said sexist and racist remarks. Now, am I suggesting that Hank Haney is a sexist or a racist? No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying his remarks that day were sexist and racist. He was talking about Korean players and not in a disparaging way. He was talking about the LPGA players in a disparaging way. Okay, so that happens. Big blow up. Craziness goes on. Hank Haney is suspended from Sirius XM. His future on that radio programming is who knows what. Then we go along, and Jung Young Lee 6 wins the Women's Open. Now, Jung Young Lee 6 is a Korean-born player. Hank Haney comes out after everything has happened, firestorm, Twitter, by every LPGA player known to man, by myself, other people, everybody basically criticizing him in the public. Now, privately, other people are supportive of him, but publicly he's being criticized. Now, I'm going to read to you, like Rachel Maddow would do on MSNBC, I'm going to read to you his response after the win by Lee 6. "My prediction that a Korean woman would be atop the leaderboard at the Women's U.S. Open was based on the statistics and facts. Korean women are absolutely dominating the LPGA Tour. If you ask me again, my answer would be the same, but worded more carefully." The same. Now, let me just give you a thought here on what he said earlier, and I have to pull this up because I cannot believe that I'm reading this, but it is true. Hank Haney, on Wednesday of his show, "I couldn't name you like 6 players on the LPGA Tour," Haney said. "Maybe I could. Well, I'd go with Lee. If I didn't have to name a first name, I'd get a bunch of them right. Yeah, I don't know." I'm sorry, where was the statistics and facts there, Hank? What were you thinking, Hank? Really, Hank? I all of a sudden I'm like the savant now on the LPGA, and I knew days ago that a particular Korean woman or a Korean woman was going to win the LPGA Tour, but I don't know who she was because I don't even know their names except for maybe there's a Lee involved. Are you serious? Really? Is that the kind of stuff you used to spew to your players when they were asking you, what should I do to make my game better? I use a lot of statistics and facts, but I don't know what I should tell you? Really? Hank, come on. Maybe age has gotten to you. Maybe you've gone just a little over the top. Maybe your chandelier doesn't have the bright lights in it that it used to have. Maybe you're no longer the sharpest knife in the drawer. Maybe you can't even find a drawer. Hank, not a very good job there. I was walking around a town the other day up in Maine, and I saw a shirt that reminded me of Hank Haney. I think you should all share in this, and maybe we could buy this shirt for Hank and send it to him. Your thoughts? Hank Haney, hopefully we never have to hear or see you again. Let's move on. Ted Ray. Most people remember Ted Ray as this big, heavy-set guy that lost in the playoff to Francis Ouimet in the U.S. Open at Brookline. Ted Ray is much more than that, was much, much more than that. Memorial Tournament has decided to honor Ted Ray next year as one of its honorees. What a great idea. I cannot tell you how thrilled I was, because you know what? It seems like when we're looking for honorees, it seems like they have to be alive, and anybody that's dead is no longer interesting. Not true. Ted Ray, deserving to be the honoree. One last thing. Pete Crozier is trying to do something for juvenile diabetes. He's walking and playing golf 50 courses, 50 states, 50 days. It's called 50 for Fathers. That's FIFTYFOR fathers.com. He's going to be at the U.S. Open. He was at the Women's Open last week. He's going to be there playing 50 states, 50 courses, 50 days. I want you to follow him. You can follow him on Morning Read. You're going to be able to follow him on Where to Golf Next. And you can certainly follow him on 50forfathers.com. Last thing. I think I said last thing. I'll say last thing again. This is just how I am. Rambling. RBC Canadian Open. Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, the two big headliners. We'll see what happens there, because after that it's the big kahuna, the U.S. Open. Doesn't get better than that. Nor does it get better than this. I'm Alex Miceli. It's Alex Miceli from the Buffalo Studios, and this has been One Take.